Assalamu alaikum. Today on Nuran Academy, we're going to discuss the ethics of halal lending. If you find this beneficial, please do support us by subscribing and sharing it as a sadaqah. In this explainer, we're going to dive into a powerful parable about a lender named Nasir. His story really illustrates a profound principle, that in Islamic finance, true strength isn't found in leverage, but in mercy.
So let's set the scene. Our story takes place during the Islamic Golden Era, a time when hardship really presented people with a choice. Was this an opportunity to make a profit, or was it a moment to show responsibility? This is the story of Nasir, a lender who handled small loans for local traders and artisans. And, his entire way of doing business was built on one single powerful idea. This right here, this was Nasir's core belief. He had it written at the start of every single agreement. And what's so amazing about this is how it completely reframes what lending is all about. It shifts away from this modern idea of debt as just a tool for financial gain and moves it toward an Islamic ethic, where finance is there to help people, to enable their efforts, not to exploit them. It's about a sacred trust, a deeply human connection.
Of course, it's one thing to hold on to principles when times are good, right? But then, a tough season hit. A season of poor trade, caravans slowed to a trickle, workshops fell silent, and loan repayments started getting delayed. This was it. This was the moment that would test every lender in the city, forcing them to show what they truly valued.
And this slide just illustrates the two paths so brilliantly. The common practice? Well, they saw a delay as a chance to tack on penalties and really ramp up the pressure. It was purely transactional. But in Nasir's way, it was completely different. He saw it as his duty to ease the burden on people. He would adjust schedules and, this is the crucial part, he would actively remove the pressure. He was asking a much deeper question. Who is going to break if I insist on my terms? Now, Nasir's response wasn't just some random act of kindness. It was way more profound than that. He truly believed that for mercy to be effective, for it to be just, it had to be systematic. It had to be built right into the process. So let's take a look at the system he designed.
He literally designed mercy directly into his lending system. It was a clear three-step process. First, he would assess the situation through transparent reviews, even bringing in witnesses. This wasn't about being suspicious, it was about establishing the truth with fairness. Second, he would forbear. That meant zero fees for any delays that were confirmed to be from genuine hardship. And third, he would facilitate, which meant he would happily accept partial repayments without any kind of penalty.
This whole system, it ensured that while some borrowers recovered pretty quickly and others needed a lot more time, all of them, every single one, kept their dignity intact. And when that difficult season of poor trade finally passed and things started looking up again, well, the real return on this year's principles became crystal clear to everyone.
So here's the crucial point. Nasir didn't lose money, which is what all his friends had warned him about. Not at all. Instead, he gained the most valuable asset there is, trust. His borrowers came back on their own, voluntarily, without anyone having to chase them down. In fact, many of them, out of sheer gratitude and respect, paid their debts back early. And of course, his reputation just soared. New clients were brought to him by word of mouth. The trust he had built, it turned out to be the strongest form of collateral he could ever have.
This testimony from one of his borrowers. Wow, it's incredibly revealing, isn't it? It just speaks volumes about the psychological and even spiritual safety that his ethical approach provided. In his hands, finance wasn't a source of anxiety or fear. It was a partnership, one built on mutual respect and dignity.
Well, when you build a reputation for integrity like that, people start to take notice. And soon enough, a very wealthy investor approached Nasir. He came with an offer that was going to test his commitment to his values in a totally new and very direct way.
The offer was really tempting. We're talking about significant capital to expand his operations, and it came with guaranteed returns for the investor. But there was a catch. One non-negotiable condition. The business model had to change. It had to be structured to require profit from late payments. This was the very thing Nasir had built his entire life's work against.
Nasir refused the offer. And that night, he wrote this in his private journal. Just let that sink in. This single line reveals such a deep, profound understanding of Islamic ethics. He knew that not every financial return is a permissible one. He saw that the patience you need during a borrower's hardship is a test of your character, not an investment opportunity. To profit from that would be a spiritual failure.
Years went by. Accounts were closed, ledgers were filled up and put away. But Nasir's true legacy? It wasn't something you could measure in numbers. It was the culture he created. Decades later, people would still say, "Go borrow from that market. They'll treat you like a person, not just an account." His work left a legacy of dignity in the heart of the community.
And so this whole story leaves us with a very direct, very challenging question for our own lives, whether we're in business or just dealing with friends and family. When you're faced with someone else's hardship, when they're struggling to repay, are you going to monetize their delay, or are you going to protect their dignity? Because in Islam, true entrepreneurs don't profit from pressure, they find ways to remove it. This is the fundamental test of our principles, isn't it? A test not just of our finances, but of our faith.
Presented and created by Neuron Studio.